Welcome to Smash Writing. I'm Paul. This is Justin. Today we are talking about our top 10 trilogies. Now, understand that.
This was a hard list to make. Because so many of them don't end at 3 anymore.
Right, but then like 4s usually start new storylines, so it kind of.
Sometimes.
But it made this one pretty interesting. So here are our top 10 trilogies. Justin, go ahead.
Oh, I'm kicking mine off with a video game because I stay on track every time. That's a video game series of fear. I love those games. A perfect little mix of spooky horror. You get a thought process, you get a storyline with the main character and the main villain and all their brothers and what happened with their mother, and it is wonderful, great stuff all around.
Okay,
Paul has nothing to say. He doesn't spend his time playing video games like some people do.
No, I am not a video game person. I will openly admit that and have admitted to that. That when it comes to video games, it's just not my thing. But my number 10, Disney's The Mighty Ducks. I don't know what about this series, like the poor kids rising up and becoming good hockey players and then growing apart and still trying to be a team. I thought it was a really good family fun comedy with a little bit of hockey in it. I don't think
It's all about the flying V, huh?
Flying V. I mean, you can't mess with a move that technically would be illegal in hockey. Because that's like, God. What would be that? What rule would that break? Offsides or some shit like that?
I don't know.
Because I feel like
as long as the person with the puck crosses the blue line before, as long as the
right. But I think how the movie puts it, they always drop the puck beforehand. Like it doesn't stay with the lead person. Like with the V, the last person or the second to last person usually has it, so the other ones are already in front. So yeah, it would be offside 110%. It could have good just growing values and just seeing that these young kids grow up and let's say just drift apart but still keep it together. Seeing that they only annoying thing was like I wish they would have lost one of their type of championships. Like
it's a good story for the kids, losers.
You gotta have moral victory somewhere. But no, overall it was still a fun.
I don't remember enough about the Mighty Ducks to say.
It was still a fun trilogy to enjoy. So that's my number 10, the Mighty Ducks.
My number 9 is the X-Men. I thought that whole trilogy worked out fantastic. A great introduction.
So just make it clear, it's X-Men United, and The Last Stand.
Yes.
Okay.
Great introduction to the characters. Wanting you to see more from them. They stepped it up in a big way in X-Men 2. And I even really enjoyed 3. I know a lot of people didn't. But I thought that was a really good ending. It really brought out the moral issues of they should be accepted, but at the same time some of their mutations are so bad, like in the case of Rogue, that you can understand why she'd want to be cured.
Yeah.
Not that I think she should have taken the cure, because that kind of defeats the purpose of accepting who you are in a way.
Yep.
But I still enjoyed them.
And honestly, believe it or not, it took me literally 15 years to realize that there was a post-credit scene.
Is there an actual? Oh, isn't it with
Charles?
Magneto?
No,
there's no Charles.
It was Charles because at the beginning of the film, one of the beginning of the films, he's talking about putting a conscious in a new body, and then forming that body to be his. He does that in the post-credit scene, which then I guess days of future past and first class. Well, yeah, it changed all up, but they did kind of leave it as a timeline thing where he did actually live and transferred his conscience into another body.
So the biggest thing I didn't like about X-Men 3 though is you cured Mystique. You had a bunch of no-name mutants running around. You couldn't have cured one of them.
My biggest problem with X-Men The Last Stand really actually was killing. Well, I think overall, I think maybe this is kind of what hurt for not being on my list was the handling of Cyclops.
Oh, I hate Cyclops as a character, so I didn't mind it.
And I get that, but they like legitly took all his leadership skills like away, and then by the time the Last Stand came around, he was literally reduced to like a cameo.
Yeah, it's fine. Honestly, it was too much time spent on him in the third movie.
No, besides that, like I didn't even really need like the because they introduced all the mutants in the first film like the right way. I know a lot of people probably like we wanted to see more power, we wanted to see a little bit more action, but like the storyline was so well driven that it didn't need that. And so, I mean, X-Men United was I think is hands down considered like one of the top 5 comic book movies of all time. Or in that, now that it's expanding, yeah, but it's still generally widely praised. Any more you want to add to that?
No, that was...
Okay. My number 9 is the Terminator 1 through 3. What can you say about this trilogy that spanned it over so many years? You had the 1984 The Terminator. I think it probably got bigger when Terminator 2 came out, but it was still a hit.
Yeah.
And the whole timeline traveling and the father existing in one timeline being sent back to father. It was so weird and trippy, and but it caught our attention to where, then Terminator 2 came out, I think it was like 84 to 92. Right? Yeah, I mean, it was like...
Would you like a minute?
80... No, it's 8 years.
Yeah.
Because it stood out to me because I'm like, usually when you wait that long for a sequel, there are a few exceptions even now, yes, I get it. But like even at that, for the most part, a sequel that takes 8 years to make it usually falls flat. This one just jumped it even more. The Rise of the Machines, to me, was probably the weakest of the 3. I would say 2, 1, 3. It still carried its own. It wasn't nothing magical like the first 2.
It needed to be R-rated.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's PG-13.
Yeah,
and the other 2 were R-rated. Yeah. So I think that probably hurt it because they toned it down with that. But other than that, I think the overall, the original trilogy of this Terminator series is hands down one of the better ones I've seen, and that's my number 9.
Yeah, I'll say something spicy about the Terminator 3 movie later on. Alright, my number 8 is...
I want to pause this for a second and say this to the audience. We actually have a bunch on here that are just in different order, so we're going to probably be like low-key...
They're going to figure that out as it goes. Come on.
Yeah,
sure. Like they're smart people.
Oh, crap. I just realized we have an official match.
Yeah, we have 2.
Well, are you talking about your number 4s?
Yeah.
But that's a mixed match of a match.
Yeah.
The official one's number 7. Look at that.
Well, we're at number 8 now, though, so...
Yeah, go for it.
Number 8 is Captain America. This was one that just progressively got better.
Yeah.
Number 1 I thought was kind of like...
it was there.
It was there. I skip it a lot of the times.
That is true.
Captain America 2 was so much better.
Oh my
Winter
God.
Soldier.
That was a game
Light
changer.
years better. And
Game changer.
Yeah.
And then...
Civil War was fantastic. I love Civil War. I'll watch Civil War every day.
That is true. Before the Avengers and everything got real super crazy, there was a Civil War. Such a good... emotional... For the MCU phase of comic book films, it was very emotionally driven because of Iron Man finding out
about his parents
with Bucky, and then you got Captain America like realizing like that was Bucky, but it wasn't Bucky.
You got everything going on with Black Panther and him losing his dad, and you can understand why Tony and Cap each took the side they took. Neither side was really wrong.
Right, yeah, they did it, the Accords, and understand, like, they both had their reasons. Very, very, very good. My number 8, The Pirates of the Caribbean 1 through 3.
This is like the opposite of Captain America. This is like a slow downfall of the series.
it started off with a bang. I think everybody's favorite one was the first film. Um, Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. I think the one of the favorite ones. This is the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, that line almost didn't get super fucking annoying, but it did.
It did.
Real fucking quick.
It almost. Obviously, they started it. You knew how they were like setting up that it was going to be, some type of a trilogy. I think 2 was probably on par with 1, and then obviously it left it with the story open, being that now they have to go save them. I don't know. I don't think 3 is really that much watchable for me. Like I watched the first 2, but the third one, honestly, the third one probably kept this one up high on the list like that.
The third movie has good parts.
Yeah.
Like the one guy dying on the boat, and he's walking down and everything around him is exploding.
Yeah.
That was a really good moment.
That is true. But that is my number 8.
Well, we'll just do combo number 7 then.
Yep.
As the Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead.
Bruce Campbell is a joy, the king of just hurting himself for our entertainment.
Believe it or not, what got me into the Evil Dead, honestly, us doing this, and made me watch it, but I actually watched the first film, Army of Darkness.
That's the third film.
That's what I said.
You said the first film.
No, I said the third film.
That sounded like you said the third.
No, I said the third, but what you first got me into, like I had to watch the first 2 because we did.
Yeah.
But I originally watched the third one first. And I don't know, I just thought that it was like real campy and real goofy, and then I was like, for the longest time I just thought it was just called the Army of Darkness, and that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the trilogy of the Evil Dead. I still actually watched the first one last. Like I watched Evil Dead 2, and then I finally got to Evil Dead.
Well, I love about the series is the fact they made Audible. Like Evil Dead 1 was supposed to be a legit scary movie. And they realized people were having a lot of fun with it and they were laughing. And they're like, okay, let's change course here and make a comedy out of this. And Evil Dead 2 was so good. But I'll never forget the laughing deer. The laughing deer had. And all the objects in the room laughing. Bruce Campbell laughing and everyone just going crazy.
That is true. And I just remember and then in 3, like the skeletons and the medieval time and him with the freaking chainsaw for a hand in medieval times. I don't know, it just stood out in that way for me. And that's why it honestly made my list of top trilogies. And that's our number 7.
So my number 6.
Yeah?
My number 6 is the Terminator series. I really like
1 through 3.
1 through 3. I really enjoyed 3. The reason that it fixed the plot hole from Terminator 2.
Explain. You gotta refresh my memory on that.
You gotta have the war. You can't avoid the war. Because John needs to be born.
Okay.
And without the war, John isn't born. So you can't end on a happy note here. It has to end with the war.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get that. And I don't have a problem with it. It was on my list.
I think that they could have done better in 3, but no, I still really enjoy all of them. I'll sit down and watch most of the Terminator movies.
Which one won't you watch?
Everything between 3 and the last one. I really liked the last one. I can't remember what it was called. Blood Fate or something like that.
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Dark Fate. Right up till Schwarzenegger got involved for some reason. And that movie title's fun.
You know what? I gotta be honest. I actually enjoyed Salvation.
There's the other one with Christian Bale.
Yeah. Because that was in the actual war. It was no longer preparing for the war, or it was in the moment. But honestly, that was only one that doesn't classify because it's a new trilogy. So,
well, again, we're going to talk about why this comes off very soon. But we'll get there.
Okay. My number 6, The Dark Knight. Up until this point, you had the Batman campy, dark campy, campy again. This trilogy really came to be more gritty, more down to earth gritty. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest fan of the Batman Begins. I don't know. I don't know what it is that kind of shies me not to fully like it compared to the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. The one thing that I didn't really like about the Dark Knight Rises is they led you to believe that Bane was like the lead villain, and then they take it away from him at the last point. And I'm like, yes, they improved it over Batman versus Robin as him being a complete henchman, but you just gave us what we wanted, and you totally discredited Bane at the end as like more of
But they at least had him in the luchador mask in that one.
That is true. They picked and choose, but I understood maybe why Nolan maybe that match just wouldn't really fit in to his series. But nevertheless, I think the Dark Knight one really stands. I think they gave us the best Joker. They really put Batman in a hold to where like he has to look like the villain to be the good guy to save everything, because
That doesn't make sense still. I enjoyed that movie.
It doesn't make sense. Well, I get it where like you want.
You get it if you really just want to get it.
Yeah, I get it where
I
get where they wanted to cover up the Harvey Dent thing, because Harvey Dent was probably making a bigger impact. Batman was fighting one person at a time. Harvey Dent was fighting the organizations, and he was putting more people away than Batman was doing, saving individuals. And
well, I get all that.
And to sit there and go, that was all a lie, would probably, I guess, make the city more corrupt. I don't know. It's something to always think about.
Well, I get all that. It's just, why does Batman have to take the fall? You could have just did the same thing with Joker.
Yeah, you could have put it on the Joker. Yeah, I mean, I guess it had to push the story for The Dark Knight Rises for Batman and Bruce Wayne to go into almost like a semi-retirement.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, there's so many good points of the trilogy that I can still sit and watch.
On the inverse, I thought Batman Begins is really good. I think it might be better than Dark Knight. But that third one's bad.
I mean, how can Heinz Ward score a touchdown and not realize that the whole stadium just crumbled?
Yeah. Talk to the Eagles fan here about Heinz Ward. I don't really care a lot about that topic.
I'll wait till football season. But that is honestly my number 6, The Dark Knight.
My number 5 is the Trilogy of the Dead, Night, Day, and Dawn from George Romero. This was fantastic. I love how he set his stage. You see the beginning of the outbreak, you see the immediate after effects of the outbreak, and then you see days later, months later kind of deal, and how humans are still trying to survive in this world. I really like seeing these zombies go from like slow, mumbling monsters, and then in Dawn you see that they're still following habits. And there's a little bit of brain activity, and then they build off of that even more into Day. All of this was so well done, so well told. It's just leave out the fact that Land of the Dead is supposed to be attached to this too. Not that I complain, Land of the Dead was good still, but we just have to forget about that from the trilogy list.
Wow. So my number 5. Justin talked about it. It's his number 8, Captain America. For me, Captain America, the first one, the first Avenger, was there. Like, I can watch it, but
I don't want to watch.
I can watch it here and there. Like, I can't rewatch it every single time I want to watch Captain America. The Winter Soldier, yeah, oh my God, like the conspiracy, the
corruption,
the hand-to-hand combat, the speed of it. All nicely done. Then you get into the Civil War. Then you move away from like one topic to now like good guys fighting good guys, and you're like, what team are you on? Captain America believed that the ones who hold the power are the right ones for the power because they make the decision where Iron Man believed that it should be for the law to decide who should go in and save people. Great topics, great emotions, twists and turns, and hands down, Xenon,
Zena?
the actual true main villain.
Yeah, Zena.
I thought it was like whatever. Now I'm drawing a blank. What was his? He was
Mastermind.
a mastermind, and he's like, I knew fighting them hand to hand, they were like gods. I can't compete with that. But what if I could tear them apart from the inside? There has to be a way. And even he look. But here's the sad thing: even he had a reason to do what he did.
Yeah.
They dropped the city on his kid and wife. So like I couldn't even make him a bad guy.
God, is that a bad thing though? I mean,
For someone who has a wife and a kid,
yeah,
I
feel like that wouldn't be that bad.
I kind of would be ticked off somebody dropped the city
fine.
on my daughter.
That's
My
fine.
God, we are like so different.
I'm reasonable.
You're okay with somebody dropping a city on a kid,
And wife, don't forget.
but still the kid. But
They're
that's
buried. You don't have to worry about the funeral.
they're still alive.
They're not alive after that.
Well, yeah, but I still would want them to be alive.
They're buried. You don't have any funeral costs.
They still had a life to live.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, but that is my number 5.
They're going to be a bad driver and just be in front of me with that blinker on for half a mile.
Not my daughter.
That's what you say now.
I'm a CDL instructor.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh my God. But that's my number 5. So now we have a number 4, but it's different versions of
Yeah,
the character.
we've split. That was very wrong. My number 4 is Spider-Man and Tom Holland.
And my Spider-Man is Tobey Maguire.
That's wrong. Wrong. Besides 3 being just that is. Whatever the hell you want to call that. 2 is shit, and I will fight anyone. I'll fight everyone on this. Okay. Amazing. Spider-Man 2 is not a good movie. Spider-Man 2 was boring. It was slow. Then on top of being slow, they added slow motion to make it even slower.
You
want to know what I want to see in my superhero movie? The second installment, my superhero not wanting to be a superhero. That's fantastic. Way to go. Build him up so I can be real excited to see Spider-Man come back on the big screen. Only Spider-Man doesn't want to be that.
Let me talk about my Spider-Man first.
I was talking about your Spider-Man.
No, that was your opinion. So the first film, obviously, was like a big hit. I generally enjoyed it. I can't really find anything that was wrong with it. It was basic. It was a good, fast pace. Part 2, I still feel like is a great film.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is. I get where Justin goes. The last thing I want is we make him a hero, and then he doesn't want to be a hero. But I also get it that they're portraying as somebody that's still a college student who's not living, a life of somebody.
He was a high school student in the first one, and he was ready to go.
Because it probably seemed like more fun to him.
If they pushed that off until the 3rd movie, I'd be fine with it. But it's the 2nd movie.
Maybe, you flip-flop it, sure. But nevertheless, I get why they went in that direction. Spider-Man 3, believe it or not, I still generally liked. I just thought they tried to... They took 2 of the more popular villains in different, like, almost time frames. Like, the Sandman character was probably more popular in the early Spider-Man days, like, on the comic. And then you had Venom, which is more of modern day, a very popular character. You almost had them try to outshine each other, and then, like...
You would slap on Harry.
Yeah, and then you had the new Goblin, or Hobgoblin.
Not the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, the new Goblin. Would have been okay if these were villains in their own films against him, but putting them together and literally giving two of the three a sad send off. But overall, there was still so much I did like about it. And no, I did not like the emo Peter Parker dance. But I did like how they were just showing how that the Venom, the symbiote, was changing him.
The Venom symbiote works on anger kind of deal. It brings out the angry Peter Parker, not the weird Peter Parker.
And then they showed good scenes of him being mad because when he learns that Sandman had something to do with his grandfather's death, not his grandfather, his uncle's death.
That was a stupid twist.
It was, but I see, like, they showed him, like, he wanted that Venom suit. He needed that Venom suit to do what he did. Still, overall, I do think it's still a great series, trilogy. Now, I have nothing against the Tom Holland one as well. This was probably,
It was excellent. Everything was done perfectly. The casting was on point. The character growth was on point. The character work and storylines was excellent and well done.
Believe it or not,
One was a great spin from Endgame.
And connecting all the multiverses, and I'm actually looking forward to Spider-Man 4. Like, I really can't wait to see what direction they go in with that film when that time comes. But that's my number 4, Spider-Man. And that's Justin's number 4, Spider-Man. I'll actually take the lead on my number 3 so we can connect your 3 and my 2.
Okay.
My number 3 is Planet of the Apes. The 2011 through the 2017 film, which I know there's a 4th film coming out. I think like next year. I can't wait for it. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes. The Rise was a great introduction to the series. Now, a lot of people will go back and forth. It's like, is this a reboot? As of right now, it kind of stands as a prequel series to the original. Rise, you start to see how these apes were to come to be intelligent. Dawn is now that the humans are dying off and trying to just fight for survival. And then the war is like, okay, we're bringing in the armies to. We realize that the apes are the problem. What I really liked about it was they used almost like real, scenarios, real issues. Here in the Rise, you have a guy trying to fight a cure for Alzheimer's, and what's the first animals that they really test on? Apes. Why? Because they're 98% our DNA. But that 2% can change how it affects us. For them, it helped us recover our memories. For them, it made them get the knowledge they needed to get stronger. The best one for me, though, is probably Dawn. It had all the right emotions, because then you started seeing conflicts within the ape community of how they wanted to do this. And then the war was just downright slightly disappointing, because Dawn set up the war to be the actual war, but the war came out and it was still just guerrilla warfare type of tactics. Hit here, you win here, I win there type of thing. So the next film is I'm still super excited for, Kingdom, and I think that's probably the next step to get closer to the Planet of the Apes. Love this series, really, really love it, and that is my number 3.
I've never seen a Planet of the Apes movie.
At all?
Nope, no.
Okay.
My number 3 is number 2.
Yep.
Is Scream 1 through 3,
Yep.
and this is where it breaks everything.
Is your Scream 1 through 3?
Yes.
Okay.
But Scream isn't 1 through 3, is it? It's not. It's 1 through 6. It's all one continuous storyline. From Sydney, 'Sydney, 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 ' And so we're breaking the trilogy rule here because of 6 of them all in the same universe, all marching along the same footpath.
I understand what you're saying, but I also disagree because, like,
Nope.
I'm telling you why I disagree with, like, that statement. I don't. So, 4, 5, and 6, to me, starts to branch away from.
Well, how does 4 branch away?
It doesn't. 4 to me feels like kind of like a standalone. Like, storyline wise, it just feels like it doesn't belong with 1 through 3, and it doesn't belong with 5.
How does it not belong with 1 through 3? I mean, I obviously I'm agreeing with you because I put Scream here,
Yeah.
but it does really break our board
4,
because it's still Sid.
it's still.
We don't even have Sam and Tara yet. It's still Sid.
I get that, but I think elements of it branch away because they are introducing Kirby and all of them, and they kind of are more the focus points. But then when you get in 5 and 6, they're not the focus points. I mean, 6, I know they brought some people back and all that.
Yeah.
Cute. But that's why it feels like Scream 4 to me is kind of like a standalone where.
But you don't get the visual. It's not though because Sid's cousin needs Sid. Sid is the main thing because the main person who needs to die here.
Right, and I'm just saying that's why it feels to me like it's more of a transition movie rather than a.
We didn't transition till 5.
But with them bringing in new characters and kind of like wanting to phase out, I feel like in hindsight it's easy to say it because they were able to reconnect the dots. But I really do feel like when 4 came out, and say it was a much more bigger hit, I do think 5 and 6 would have been different stories being used because it just felt like they were going in that direction. And then when 4 kind of fell on its face, they reconnected the dots to make it work that way. For me, that's in hindsight. But 1 through 3, to me, this is why it's high up there, is it changed the game of the horror genre for me. You know, they were calling out like.
Well, we can't keep saying change the game. This is the 3rd time we've said change the game.
Well, I mean that's the. I do like the story arc with Cindy. How like there's different elements of her life where her mom really screwed some people over, and those people were so mad that each film felt like there was a different reason for that person to go after Sydney.
Yeah. Well, it has good elements of like even mental health with watching Sydney, who's already struggling with her mom's death, and now these assaults, and having to grow along with it, become stronger in each movie, both physically and mentally stronger, to the point where she's not fully recovered, but on the right path and everything. And she's also a tank. Good lord.
Yeah. So like in the first one, she was just dating the wrong guys. Who wasn't Billy like? Didn't Billy sleep with her mom or something?
No.
No.
Sid's mom slept with her, Billy's dad.
And that caused him to have a broken home.
Yeah.
So
that's what he accused.
Right. So then in 2, you had Billy's mom.
Yeah.
Who wanted then revenge for
Billy.
For Billy. Then in 3, the big switcheroo was then Sid has a half brother who didn't get the love from his mom because.
This is Scream 3.
Yeah.
But and he's the one who started everything.
Yeah.
You know, I thought long and hard about this because I always said it should have been Dewey in 3. I was wrong. It should have been Cotton in 3.
What was Cotton's beef? Like.
Well, the whole construct of 3 was right. It's going to be someone from your past, and something you thought was true is not going to be true. What is the one thing we thought going into 3? Cotton is innocent.
Yes.
So Cotton not being innocent would have been the best part. Is that she was right all along when she pointed the finger at Cotton.
I agree with that. That I understand that. I'm
anything but Roman. Roman was a terrible choice.
You know, he probably could have been like the secondary killer.
Maybe, yeah.
Like at best, but I agree with that. Like Cotton should have been the main one, and then Roman could have been his backup. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's two. Who was the second killer in part 2 then? There was
Mickey.
Oh,
The film set in Mickey.
okay, I gotcha. It's one of those series that definitely.
It's an iconic look with Ghostface. You got an iconic final girl in Sydney. You have the two, Dewey and Gail, and they're rounding out that little trio.
Mm-hmm. And then them always talking about horror movies within a horror movie.
Yeah, having that meta breaking thing.
Yeah, great series. My feelings are still kind of mixed on, I would say 5 and 6. Like,
Well, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are fantastic.
I just don't like the random and now.
Boy, we're gonna have a conversation on the next list.
Billy had a illegitimate daughter. Give me something else.
You saw him in the. This is a little bit set up though. When Randy and Stu are talking in the video rental store, you see even Randy points out that why is Billy hitting on that one girl in the horror section when he's the main suspect in the murder spree. He's hanging out in the horror section and flirting with the one girl.
So we're saying that could be.
It shows that Billy was not staying true with this relationship already here.
True. But that is my 2, his 3. Give your number 2.
My number 2 is the Blood and Chocolate Trilogy. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Oh wow, these films are so good.
Can't believe
So wonderful, lovely. The great are good. I can quote these movies for weeks.
I'm so mad that you made me watch them.
I have no soul. No
Look,
hope.
I enjoyed Shaun of the Dead. I sit there and I gave it the best review of the ones. I actually, until you introduced that idea to me, I never knew that. I just thought it was just the 2 best friend actors just making films. I didn't know it. They tied in as a stupid name.
Cornetto Trilogy.
Yeah.
Cornetto Trilogy.
Good God.
The World's End is the best one.
Okay, let me get to my number 1.
Oh, say what you want, but if we got commenters, they'd be pissed off at you for this.
Amongst the Star Wars fans, I know that you guys are going to hate me, and I don't really care.
Yeah, he does.
No.
Yeah, he does.
I will use my lightsaber and cut you guys. My number 1 is Star Wars. When it comes to the trilogies,
Which one? Which Star Wars?
Episode 1 through 3, The Phantom Menace,
The prequel ones.
the prequel ones. So let me first go like this. Yes, I understand everybody's fetish with Empire Strikes Back. I think it was a great movie too. Return of the Jedi was a good film.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, there you go.
None of these movies are good.
Well, yeah, you just don't like Star Wars, period.
I don't like the Star Wars movies. I watch the Clone Wars series.
Now, so you like the shows? You like the animation?
The animation.
In the live action, or
The live action's fine.
okay?
Some of them.
So here's why 1 through 3 is my trilogies compared to the other 2.
Because these are the ones that you watched when you were a child.
No. I actually watched the original series first. I didn't get into these series until like 2009. I never went to go see them. This was all after the fact. That's why I don't know. I grew to like them more.
Was it the sand?
It's not the same. Yes,
Was it pod racing?
There was quotes in that.
This is pod racing.
There was quotes in the overall series that you just wanted to
forget.
Take those stupid ass quotes out of the way. They gave us what Star Wars fans have been craving for. The excellent fights, lightsaber scenes.
Were they?
Let's put it this way. I would say more probably Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor.
Other than that, final fight was really good with them on the lava field.
Yeah.
That was good.
And even to this day, when you watch the behind the scenes of them, that was all. They might have been doing that on the blue screen and walking, a hallway and fighting, but that was all them duking. That was them slinging those little plastic sticks and all that. I think it gave us the action that we craved from Star Wars. They gave us the better lightsaber duels of all three series. The first series, yes, the technology wasn't there. It was chunky. It was the sequel trilogy didn't need to be there because it couldn't be there. There was no training. So what ones had the best fights? Which ones had all of the Jedis in it?
The answer is none of them.
1 through 3.
None of them. The answer is Clone Wars series.
But that's a series. That's not a trilogy.
Yeah, I know. She didn't have to put this.
So
you could have left it off.
Yes, like I said.
I'm actually surprised you don't have Indiana Jones on here. But then I remember you haven't watched any of them, have you?
No, I never watched Indiana Jones. I never felt the urge. I mean, I might look, in the next couple months that we have off from recording, I might look into it.
No Godfather?
Mafia, I get where they say, like, probably a lot of people will sit there and say the Godfather trilogy is the best. You may be right, but this is my opinion. I never really watched them. I watched pieces of them. I just could never stay focused on them long enough.
Well, I mean, you look at my clone, don't have any of those on my list.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I know a lot of so-sos will have it in high regard. I just can't watch, like, a mafia movie, like, it's like 4 or 5 hours long or something. Mafia movies, to me, are just like one and done type of ones. You give me a sequel, a trilogy, I don't know, I just lose focus. But for me, Star Wars won because it gave me the action, it gave me the story of my favorite character, one of my favorite characters, and so forth. And I love it. I will watch definitely I will watch Revenge of the Sith all day long. I thought that was definitely, they said, the final fight scene and the building of the Darth Vader. Loved it. And that's my number 1.
No. There's only one clear.
I am so, like, really shocked by it. As many years as I've known you.
This is Fear Street. All the way. They are fantastic characters. You have the power couple in Deanna and Sam. You have an amazing through story all the way, linking all of this town's events together. To slap you in the face with a great little twist in there. I knew the thing about the witch was going to come out. She was not the main problem. There was a bigger problem. But they did get me. I was not expecting Sheriff Good. And they stuck the landing. Most of these movies on this list fail to, at some point, whether it's the start or it's the end, they fail miserably. Fear Street nailed it. 10 out of 10. Best trilogy of all time. Easy.
I said, as many years as I've known you, I thought Evil Dead would be high up there. A bunch of things. But I don't have no problem with Fear Street. We both gave them. I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to remember.
That was movie of the year.
Yeah, you did give it best movie of the year. But that is our top 10 trilogies. Until next time.
Leave stuff in the comments below. Until next time. Bye bye.